Alright, how's it going? It's Saturday, and traditionally Saturdays for me have always been about one thing. And so today, I'd like to talk to you about one of my other pastimes. Now, pastime is another way of saying hobby. I'm going to talk about a pastime that I've enjoyed since I was a very young child, probably about 6 or 7. A pastime which is the national sport of England. It's still played by more than 2 million people and watched or supported by around 45% of the population of the UK. Can you guess what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the beautiful game, or football as you probably know it. As a kid growing up in a tiny village like this, there was really naught else to do except go to the local primary school for a kickabout. I said there is naught else to do. So naught in Northern England means nothing. It's definitely not a word you should use unless you want to sound like you're from Northern England. But there was naught else to do except go to the primary school for a kickabout, which means just kick the football around basically. That's a noun, a kickabout.
He is their star player.
I'm stood now in the middle of the playground of the primary school that I came to. It's only 1 mile away from my house, and it's pretty cool to be back here. I've not been here for a long time. You can see the old school behind me. It's a very old Victorian school, and then later they built this porter cabin, which is like a temporary structure to expand, make it bigger, make the school bigger. As a kid, definitely used to spend many hours kicking the ball against this wall here. We used to play a game called Slam, which was basically just kick the ball against the wall, and then the next person had to get the ball and kick it against that wall, but they could only kick the ball once, and if you do it 4 times without hitting the wall, SLAM, then you're out. Okay, so check this out. Check this out is a way to say have a look at this. All of this around me now is new. None of this was here when I was a kid. You can see over there, there's a polytunnel for growing vegetables. Over here, they've built a little sensory garden. So there are 5 sections in this little garden that talk about each different sense. So cool. They've got a campfire over here. A campfire at a primary school. I'm pretty amazed, to be honest. I didn't know that any of this was here. Here they've built a cage for growing outside. Looks like it's full of strawberries. Basically, if the weather was okay and it wasn't cold or dark, this is where we'd be. Smashing balls into that goal there, playing headers and volleys, which means you can only score with a header or a volley, which is when you kick the ball before it hits the ground.
Blocked by Robert, Amiobi, and then Shearer!
I think that's my best in my career, yeah.
3 in the box waiting for the cross, and it was Bale! Oh, what about that? What about that from Gareth Bale? Sanchez.
Santos lifts it into the area. Ibra scores! That is number 500 for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and only he can get to 500 in that way.
But it looks as though the kids these days don't use this football pitch as often as we did. There are these molehills. This is a noun, a molehill. A big pile, a big mound of mud, which is made by that little animal that lives under the ground called a mole. I wonder if I've still got any football skills. Shall we have a look? No, I hit the crossbar. Noun. Crossbar. These things at the side are called posts. Posts, 2 posts, 1 crossbar. No, I've not got any skills. Not that I really had any to start with. You could say I'm still useless. Useless as an adjective, with no use. Me playing football. I'm just a little bit less fit now than I used to be, which makes it even harder. These days, I don't play football anymore. I just watch it on television. You could call me an armchair pundit. An armchair is just a seat where we can sit and rest our arms. And a pundit, that's another noun. Well, those are the people that get paid money to give their expert opinion. So the people, well, that will be on television behind me in a second, that talk about the game before the game and at half-time and give their opinion. So I don't play anymore. I like to watch football on TV instead these days. These days is a great way to say nowadays, just a different way to say now. And we can begin a sentence by saying these days and then talk about what we do these days in the present simple. These days, I watch football on television. And I've been very lucky. Actually, when I lived in Russia, the 2018 World Cup came to Russia and I got to see 7 games, including 2 semi-finals and also the final in Moscow. Here at the Luzhniki, waiting to see the final. I'm absolutely buzzing off my tits. I can't believe it, it's amazing. It's kind of like a dream come true, but it doesn't feel real. The stadium looks mightily impressive. Moscow is very hot and humid. I'm sweating like crazy. The atmosphere is building. I'm gonna head in now and see if I can find my friends inside. However, although I was extremely fortunate to get a ticket to this event, fortunate means lucky, it's just a little bit more formal. The feeling was definitely bittersweet. That's an adjective. To say something is bittersweet means that it's good on one hand but feels bad on the other. And that's because England got knocked out of the World Cup in the semi-final. I thought I was going to see England play at a World Cup final, which would be a childhood dream, and potentially, maybe, even win the World Cup. But it didn't happen, and I'm still very thankful that I got to visit the 2018 World Cup final. I don't think I'll ever get to visit a World Cup final again, so I consider myself extremely fortunate. Yeah, let me know who you support. Tell me about the love of football that you have. I've not actually spoken about my team and who I support because that's an extremely long and complicated story. Probably one day I will bore you to death. Nice expression, to bore somebody to death. Means to say something really boring about my football team. But for today, I just wanted to talk about the beautiful game. Thanks for watching. See you again tomorrow. Bye.